Hey guys, Global 5 here today, doing another deck profile. We're doing something new. We're screen recording using wsdecks while we still have it. Unfortunately, wsdecks is potentially closing at the end of this month, January 2019. I hope it doesn't. This is a great tool. I love building decks. So WSDecks has always been like my go-to just to like mess around, look at ratios, and then I can physically see the deck without owning the cards. So it's been really essential for me and just building like the million decks that I have at home. Today we're here to look at Love Live Sunshine. This deck's been beat to death, I'm sure, with profiles and everything. However, I haven't seen any for a post-ban list. It did get hit with the new ban list that starts in February 2019. They limited the finisher, the 3-2 Yo, to a single copy, which was pretty devastating for the deck. You can see it here. They also switched up the choose one of three. You can now play the capture stance Kanon, and they moved the 1-0 coin flip Mari to the ban list, which if I was smart I would have had a copy here for you guys, but did not plan ahead for that. But they brought this back, so that's pretty nice. This is actually pretty key, I found in play testing. Let's look at the ratios. 15 zeros, there's 10 level 1s, 6 level 2s, and 11 level 3s. My original Sunshine builds only were running 12 to 13 zeros just so I would have that Yo ratio to burn for something, which was really good. Here it's been bumped up a little bit. That's because I'm not relying on those Yos so much, and more utility for me to be able to locate the Yo and hold it in my hand, so that way when I need to get rid of it I can, and then just roll with my single copy and hopefully keep it alive, which I've been able to do. The only time I was super sad was I was 2-1, had the regoing clock, and I got clock bombed. So that was just like super sad because I never saw the Yo again. But I have other game plans in this deck, so it's not totally reliant just on the single copy of the Yo. We have 7 yellow. Most of those are here for color fixing because I have like a little bit of tech in here. Most of it's meta based. We have a lot of marker decks running around, but we'll go into that. 31 red and 12 blue. So when I go through this, I'll try to offer some other suggestions that you can run. But for me, the dozen or so play tests that I've done with this has worked out really well. Without any further ado, we'll go into these zeros and kind of why I picked them. Again, we've talked about the capture stance Kanon coming off the ban list. First effect is that when this goes to waiting room, you may look at the top card of your deck and put it there or put it in the bottom, so a little bit of scry. Second effect is what makes it so good. You can sack this off the field to put a character that had just left the field back onto the field as rested. So this will save your early plays. If you're looking to save some of your ones, if you've got combo in hand, save your one. Then you get to scry and see, if it's damage. If it's not something you want to draw, just put in the bottom. Mirai no Bokura Hanamaru. This card could easily be run as 2 of. I run it as 1. I just find I don't use it for whatever reason. But you can easily run 2 of these. It gives 500 to characters in front. Then its other effect, which makes it good, is pay 1, clock yourself, rest this card, salvage a level 1 or lower character from waiting room. So, you're going to use that, grab your combo, you're going to use that, grab your brainstorm if you need your brainstorm. You can grab this if you're like, already got all your pieces and you're just trying to get to 1. You can grab this nice little tech card that I play. But yeah, easily you can run 2 of these. Not wrong. 3 is probably maybe a little too much, depending on how yellow heavy you are. But I think the one that I have is fine. I've gotten it when I've needed it, and it's just been pretty okay. But 2 copies just felt bad for me, but 1 was fine. We play 4 of these. Is your brainstorm. The first climax combo is a Exodia combo that you don't play in the deck, so it just doesn't matter. The Exodia deck is pretty fun. I do have a build for that hopefully I'll be able to do a deck profile on soon. Um, but what you care about is the pay one rest self, because with the Rico in the back row, this rest self is just like super good. Whereas the original Rico brainstorm, you had to rest 2, and then you couldn't use the 2-1 Rico effect. So I like beaters. I kind of like to maintain a little bit of presence at 0. Um, don't go crazy. I don't usually try field, but if I can maintain 1 or 2 cards plus a little bit in my hand, it's usually pretty good for me, just to maintain that hand size as I go into 1. If my opponent gets 1, maybe 2 reverses, I'm not usually too sad. But we play this. It's a pseudo beater. If you have 2 or less stock, it gains 1500, so it's 3500. And it has the option to run to the front row middle slot. So your opponent does need to play around it a little bit if they're trying to get reverses, or if they're trying to maintain a board so they can plus a character. They have only 1 slot that you may not be able to kill something. If you throw 2 of these down, then most likely the opponent's not going to be able to maintain character on board unless they're playing like 4Ks. This is the other beater we're playing, Tear of Fallen Angel Yoshiko. Cards in front of this cannot move to another slot, so you're going to kill those mill runners or the free runners easy. 3,500 power, so probably not getting backed up over it. Then we have Water Blue New World Mari. This card's really clutch to filter your hand and to get the pieces you're looking for. We're playing 3 copies of it because we want to see it. You can play 4. I just kept the low 0 count, so this is at 3. First effect is if you have 2 other music characters when this comes into play, you may draw and then discard. And then it has the drop search effect for music. So early or level 1, if this has not been stocked or not in your waiting room, you're going to try to grab this and just hold it until you can hit 2 and then discard it from your hand from the Rico. But the main goal early game is trying to get this in your hand. One game I played was super salty. I tri-fielded at 0. I think it was like my second turn at 0, tri-fielded, and I triggered this off the first attack. And then I just never saw Yo that game, but that's fine because as you can see a little bit, we have other game plans, but triggering this when you're tri-fielding is just super sad because you're probably not digging it out unless you're paying 3 to save, but then that just feels bad anyway. So moving to level 1s, I think we said we were running 10 of these. Yep, 10 level 1s. We played 2 of this Rico, the Mirai no Bokura. It's a come into play, give 1500 somewhere, playing an on reverse combo. So giving that 1500 is sometimes keys, just to either negate a backup or get over a backup ability for an opponent. So that's why we play that mostly, but it also has the level 1 bomb effect. So if you're playing attack on Titan, they may maneuver gear out of the way, but then next turn they won't be able to get as hard of a plus. So the bomb effect is pretty nice, but the main reason you're playing it is for that power pump for your on reverses. Our Brilliance Yo Watanabe. It's your climax combo, your engine at level 1. When the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, you may look it up to the top 4, choose a music, add to hand, and then give 2k somewhere. More likely, you're going to give it to another one, and then the next year is 8k, 9.5 if this is in play, even bigger if this is in play in the front row center slot. So that I think it's a Minami clone is what it's referred to as. Is pretty good, but I mean, you just got to make sure you get the first reverse off so that way you can give the power and the plus. So, again, that's why we play these. Water Blue New World Daya. This card is a nice addition. I wasn't playing it in my original builds. A lot of people were, but I just didn't have space for it because I was running other things. But with the single copy of Yo, you want to make sure you can get that. This is another way to do so. On play, this gains 2k power, so it's a 6/5. And when the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, you may pay cost, which is pay 1 and rest a standing character to search your deck for a music character. So, again, we're grabbing the Yo, we're grabbing the Rico, we're grabbing a Chico, we're grabbing something that we need to set this up. Or, if this is just not able to be gotten, you're probably grabbing this. Or if your opponent's ahead of you in damage, grab a early play killer. It's kind of situational, but it's nice that you can do that and you're digging out a damage. So that's pretty cool. This is a little bit of tech that I'm playing. I've never seen anyone else play this. It's other options for cards you could play, but these are my girls, Daya and Kanan, so it does help with the reverses, and I do like to pump powers to my middle slots, so like I'll throw this here, I'll throw that there, and then these guys get bigger. It does help me prevent reversing of my early plays. So what it does, if you've not seen this card, is it gives 1500 power to the front row center slot continuously, and on play it's draw discard. So a little bit of hand fix, which is nice, and that 1500 power. So if I've got this and this in my back row, which is my hope, then I'm pumping 3k to that front row center slot. So now my Yo here is 13k. I can back it up to 16. So usually it's not going to get reversed standardly, which is cool. This one, if it's in that slot, is now 14k, 17k with the backup. So that's where the decision went into playing this card over anything really. We have here, at level 2, 6. This Yoshiko is your early play killer. When it comes into play, you and your opponent play rock, paper, scissors. If you lose, all your characters gain 2k, a little bit of flavor text there. And then it's a stock bomb for early plays. We have a lot of marker decks. We had Hino, Luck, and Logic running around. We have Darling and the Franks running around. So in order to remove those marker combos, this is what I moved to. I was playing 2 of the backup, but I just found being able to remove the markers with this a lot easier. So we're playing that. Plus, this Yoshiko is really helpful to get marker compression away. So yellow tech in here was needed. So playing 2 of these instead of the backup. Playing the backup's fine. You want to go a little more blue. That seems good. My original decks were like that, so perfectly fine. This Ruby, 3k backup, aim for the brilliance. Its other effect is when you use this card's backup, your opponent mills the amount of cards from the top of their deck for the characters you have on field. So if you've got full field, your opponent mills 5 cards. Situationally good. Not always good. Sometimes they mill 5 damage and then you're going into cancels. But I've had them mill 3 climaxes off the top of their deck that they weren't going to trigger before. And then that was a super free next turn. I think I killed them. So can be good, can be bad. You can also play the 2/1 Mari backup from set 1, which is 3k. But yellow fix. So what do you want to do? And then this, the 2/1 Rico, the early play condition to bring out the Chica. It's a level assist, and then the second effect is pitch a card from hand, rest this card, look at the top card of your deck, and then based on the level of that card, salvage on it. So this is what you're doing to peak for your Yo level 3 to see what you're going to burn. It's also nice to just see what's there, and you can brainstorm or salvage something that's helpful. You look at the top card, it's this level 3, you don't have this option, but this is in your waiting room, you have 2 less climaxes, boom, you grab this and play and heal. So it is nice in that regards, and you may have pitched this level 0 that's just not helpful at this point. So that little bit of hand fix and then grab something that is helpful is nice. Moving into the level 3 lineup, We're playing Aquarium Yoshiko. It's when it comes into play, you may choose one of your opponent's characters and bounce it to hand, and this gains 2k. Second effect, I don't use it too much. Some people do just to try to mitigate soul, but that's however anyone wants to play, I guess. Pay 1, pitch a card, and all your characters gain plus 501 soul for the turn. So if you're trying to ping for 1, you're playing Climax, you've got a level 3, it's got 3 soul, give it a 4 soul, and it can side for 1 on a level 3. So if you're trying to hit exact, that little bit is nice to do. So just different ways to play and think about dealing damage to your opponent. This allows you a little bit to do that, but playing mainly for the bounce. Marker decks, like I said, are a big problem in my meta. So Mirai no Bokura Yo. This is a early play if you have 2 or less climaxes in deck. You heal when it comes into play, and it gains 1k for each of your characters in the back row. So this will be in your back row, your Brainstorm probably in your back row, or this, and so it's a 11k, and then getting whatever power boost from those as well. So it's pretty fat, even though it's only a 9k base. Unless your opponent's removing your back row, which not very many decks do, this is sticking around at pretty high level. Playing 3 of it, just like I said, is a backup to this. Used to play 3 or 4 of these, but limited to 1. So this is probably your next best bet. But we'll go into a little bit of other things you could play at the end as well. We're playing 2 of these. It's the Our Brilliance Rico. You're basically playing it because you're playing Standby. I hadn't talked about climaxes yet, but you're playing Standby. This just gives you a little another something you can do at level 2. Going into the effects is when this comes into play from your hand, it gains X. I actually don't know what that does. Hold on. I've only stood by this out. So when this card is placed from hand to the stage, look at so it digs. So that's great. You can dig through your deck at level 3, and all the attack is where the power is. Yeah, I never play this from hand, so it's good to know. You can dig with that. And then the climax combo is when this is placed on the stage via the effect of her own chosen path, which is the Standby. You may pay 2, pitch 2. It's the lion effect from Kimono Friends, and then stand this. So at 2, you could bring this out and stand it as another attacker. At 3, you trigger a Standby. You have the resources. Now you get a 4th attack. Feels great. I made a kid really, really sad at locals. I had the Yo out, I had a Chica out, and I had, I think, this out. So I Rico'd into a 3, so I burned him for 3, then I hit him for 3, then I hit him here for 3, and then I swung in with the Chica, revealed the Standby, and this was in waiting room, overplayed onto this, paid the effect, hit him with Chica for 4, and then I hit him again for 3, and I killed him. I think he was like 2-5 or something. He was not happy, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instances of damage in that turn because I triggered the Standby. So this was a nice little alternative that I figured was good. You can play the 3/2 Chica, Mirai no Bokura, but I think that this was a better option just with this kind of a lineup. The early play Chica, if Mirai ticket Rico's in your clock, this gets -1 level in hand. When this comes into play, you may pay the cost, which is 1 to summon this from waiting room, and that's like the whole kind of game. The debate was to play 4 of these or 3. Me and another buddy who plays Sunshine went back and forth a bunch, but we figured that because you only got 1, playing 4 of these is probably too much. You do want to see it, so you do want to make sure you can get it. So playing 2 just didn't seem good, but you play 1 and 3, so that way you can bump this to 3. That was our rationale there. So 4 is probably not wrong if you want to play it that way, so that way you can 100% always get it. But with all the different ways to grab cards, through this milling and grabbing, or if you're playing the Mari at late game, it's definitely possible that you can get it with 3. Even 2 you'll probably get it, but I think 3 is a good number to have. Don't think we mentioned exactly what this yo does, but I guess we'll go into it because it is kind of the money card and why it got banned. It was so good. If there's it gives all your Mirai ticket Chicas plus 2K. When this card attacks, reveal the top card of your deck, and you burn your opponent based on character level. So if you're playing a bunch of events, you're not going to burn them based on the events. So I play one event, and sometimes that makes me super sad. But hopefully you've looked and you've seen what it is with Rico. Hopefully it's a 2 or higher. You play a bunch, and yeah, you burn it for 2 or 3, and your opponent's usually pretty sad. Because if they're 3 or higher and you get 1 or 2 of these things off, they're probably dead. The one event I am playing is Yakisoba, or if you want to be English, Nice Oodles. It's a 3/2 counter that gives 2,500 power. When you use this backup, actually no, it doesn't even matter if you use the backup. So when you play this card, you mill the top card of your deck. If it is a level 1 or a higher character, you burn your opponent for 5. I like meme cards. I love doing random things that other people don't do. And this is the card I have played since I started playing with Sunshine in English. I've won games in regionals with this. I've won probably 20 plus just local games. But this card not only gives power, it allows me to mill. Hopefully it's a damage. 9 out of 10 times it is a damage. Very rarely do I mill a climax. And then I'm burning my opponent for 5. One thing that is super good is a little bit of combo with this. If my opponent killed one of my characters on my turn, and then I'm going to sack off the Kanon, I can peek at the next card, and if I see it's a level 1 or higher, I know that I can use this counter on the first attack, and I'm going to be able to burn them, and I know I'm milling a damage. So a little bit of play with that. It's not as clutch as it used to be, because I used to play with the 1/0 Mari, who would just get reversed, and then I would peek at the top card, and then everything would be great. But it still does allow me some way to peek at the top card of my deck and know if I can burn them. If you really want to be a savage, you play this on your turn. Like if you know it's like a level 1, and you just, whatever, I'll mill it. Burn them for 5, and then you're doing your, 3 or 4 different instances of damage on your attack phase, and your opponent is probably just running out of climaxes at that point, because burn them for 5, hit, burn, hit, and then if you hit standby, bring this out, and then they're just pretty sad. We didn't talk about the other climax, which works with your level 1 combo. It's a door, so really, really good trigger, and it's a 1k1. So this is the deck I'm running for Japanese Sunshine. Whether I run it in WGP next year, I'm not sure yet. We'll also need to see what happens with the August Banlist. Our WGP runs at the end of the year. But I've had pretty good results with this. I don't think I've lost a game. No, I've lost one. I just got really climax screwed, but it's felt really good. I've gotten the yo off every time. The yo almost never dies unless it gets clock bombed, and yeah, feels great. If you guys have any comments on this list, feel free to leave those below. Always welcome feedback. Anything I may have missed with cards. We've got 3 Sunshine sets to work with, so I may have forgotten something at this point. Or if you think that instead of running this, I should be running that 2/1 Chica that gives global 1k with the Revenge 1k from the first trial deck. That's a card that almost forgot existed. But that would also be another 2, which would be great. And it's red, so it's right in color. But other cards you probably could run, instead of running 3 of these, run 2 of these, and then run 2 of the Aim for the Brilliance Dia. On play, you may pitch a card to heal the stock. It's another really good card, and you're running blue anyway, so you're likely going to have it. So just something else you could run. I appreciate you guys listening to this. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. Any decks that you may want to see reviewed, feel free to leave those in the comments or shoot me a PM on Twitter. The handle is @Dragonator235. I appreciate everyone that subscribes and likes and comments on this, as we're still trying to grow the channel. It's been about a year and a quarter at this point, and yeah, no, I just really appreciate it, and always trying to get better. Thank you guys for listening, and hopefully you have a rest of your day.